Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. I just want to say a big thank you before I start on the video to everybody that's watched the channel and likes the grounded nature, the down-to-earth approach, the normal person sort of thing that we do on the channel all the time. Moving forward, this is the well over £230,000 Ferrari 296 GTB plug-in hybrid. Now, I know that plug-in hybrids aren't the favourite in EV world, but if someone says, would you like? Would you say no? Someone will. They'll be writing in the comments right now, but I didn't. Normally I'd say let's look around the car, then the inside, and take it for a drive, all the usual kind of car review stuff. But I think in this case, I just need to step back and look. It's not the prettiest Ferrari in the world, but for me, it's not that far off. There's a little bit of Roma in this one. It's very low, it's very imposing, and you know what? I think the best way to describe something like this is it's a Ferrari. It is beautiful. It really is beautiful. And you know what? It's the engineering that I really like. All the aero on this, it's here for a purpose, but they've somehow managed to make it look stunning and be practical and very aerodynamic. I mean, you've got this kind of little bit of aero down there, little sort of T-tray approach. The aero along there with the flat radiators. And my favourite bit, the air vents behind, or rather to either side of the lights that send nice cooling drafts into the brake discs. And then there's the spoiler, which you can't really see. It's not a shouty car, which is again why I love it. It just sends the air where it needs to go. You can see how low it is. I mean, compared to what is around these days, everything's a tall SUV. It's nice to have something that you can actually clean the roof of. Not that I imagine many people who own this will be cleaning it themselves. The handle, the way that these doors stick out and go all the way to these beautiful haunches. I'm sorry, I'm stroking the car far too much on video. You've got the aero again going into the intercoolers. You have the 2.9 twin turbo V6 petrol engine in the back. This is the first ever badged Ferrari with a V6, and that points to a direction because they're going smaller capacity because electrification's coming in. I know not everybody will be a fan of that, especially from the Ferrari angle, but when Ferrari are dropping one and bringing in another, you know that it's not going anywhere. They're taking it seriously. So in total, 833 brake horsepower. 833. I remember getting cars at like 200, 300, 10 years ago and thinking hot hatch, and then supercars were like 4 or 5. Now you're just into silly figures, and it's rear wheel drive. Which is why I won't be putting my foot down to the floor on the roads. Whee! Although it should be said that in the right hands, this does handle like a Ferrari should. Around a track, if you ever take it on a track, which 99% of the people that own this car won't, it will do it. And I think that's what I like. You can get the engineering, you can get the track car performance out of it. It's not just for show. It's not, you know what, this is a supercar for the discerning gentleman. I think I would look good in this if I ever win the lottery. And yeah, it's not going to happen, but I think I would look good in it. What do you think? Do you think the Asda Giorgio outfit fits? Yeah. This is my favourite angle, I think. The noisemaker out here, and it does make a beautiful noise. Not everybody, again, will be a fan of that, but noise isn't wasted energy when it's put in the right place. If you fart at the right time, it's still funny. It's not wasted. Lots of aero. I'm not going to point everything out. If you want all the technical details of this car, there are far better other videos on YouTube. Wide, imposing, stable, beautiful, and when you want it to, very quiet in electric mode. But would you buy a Ferrari for its electric? Looking at the engine bay through this is like looking at a calm puddle, a calm lake, and it just shows you the 120-degree V6 in all its glory. How many cars can you look at the engine bay of and say, you know what, that is very impressive. I can appreciate the skill that's gone into that. I don't like, ballet, I don't like theatre, but I can appreciate the hard work and skill it takes to do all that. And this is no different. If If you hate petrol engines, EV channel, it's going to happen. Fine, but at least admire what we're looking at here. Right, well, before I close the door, I just want to point out these rather lovely sills here, quite wide, but very nicely detailed. The door handle, as you'd expect, feels really good. That's how you open the door. High-end leather here, high-end leather here. Nice touch points, as you'd imagine. JBL speaker in here. I've heard better, but it's still very good. Lots of kind of Alcantara dotted around. And the steering wheel. It feels like a Ferrari steering wheel. You've got the lights up here. When you get into maximum revs, it will shoot up to tell you when to change. And of course, as always, it's the usual extremely busy Ferrari-ness. Lots of buttons. And when you press the brake pedal, and this, first time, it turns on the ignition. And if you press it again, ooh, you get a little noise basically. It always starts in electric mode, and as you can see, it's got a full kind of virtual cockpit. This bit here, which I'll now switch to another view, I really like the way you kind of see, again, the engineering behind the car. Nice bit of dashboard. The glove box, unfortunately no Harry here today. Glove box is quite deep, if not very tall. And take a look at these seats. Carbon fibre, as you'd imagine. Some people may have difficulty getting in and out of this thing because it is extremely low, as I said. You've got your windows control here, and you've got reverse, manual, automatic, launch control. I don't think I'll be allowed to do that. You've got a phone, bit for your phone. You haven't got a phone, you've got a bit for your phone that does wireless charging, and of course a cup holder, just in case you want to have a nice drink. You've got a bit of a storage here, and well, there's a cargo net behind you. If I click on that, you can change this to do all sorts of things. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole manual because you're not here for that, but you've got lots of different virtual cockpit displays. Looks really cool. You know what, I just want to skim through this and quite frankly, get driving, because how often do you get to drive the very first 296 GTB sold in this country? This is the first right-hand drive one ever sold in the UK. First off, I think I need to show you the front. Charging cables, of course. It's very deep. You know what, you'll be able to go for a weekend away in that. It's very, very deep, actually. I mean, you've got the charging cable and various other stuff. But, yeah, I think for a weekend in Geneva or Monaco, perfect size. But that is it. Obviously, the engine's in the back, so you've got that and that only, and a little bit, I guess, behind the seats. But again, am I really bothered about the practicality of what is a supercar? Oh, squeeze in, squeeze in. Please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't do anything bad. Let's test it in electric mode. Turning circle's terrible. There you go. If you want some practical advice, the turning circle is awful. Oh, the indicators are weird. You have to press that to indicate. Rear wheel drive. I'm going to have to put the window up because you won't be able to hear what I'm saying. Right now I'm in sport mode, which is essentially hybrid normal mode, because it's still sporty with it being a sports car, of course. They don't want to call it normal. Nothing is normal in this car. This seat, for as hard as it is, I think it'd be a decent long distance cruiser. If I press that button there, you've got to raise the ride height. So if you go over a speed bump, for example, that's important. I need to do that. I don't want to damage the carbon fibre splitter at the front. That will be very expensive. I've driven around airports in different countries. I've driven around the Los Angeles mountains in a Mustang GT 500, $110,000 that was. But now I think is the most nervous bit of it all, because quite frankly, it's not my car, it's not a press car, and it costs more than my house. And that's not a joke, it genuinely costs more than my house. I have done a test in electric only mode, as has the owner of the car, and about 15 miles is about the electric only mode, real world, oh, I can't talk, 15 miles of real world full electric range. There you go, that's what everyone wanted to know, isn't it? It's essentially no different or harder to drive than a Volkswagen Golf when you're just tootling around in electric mode. And maybe that's the appeal of the plug-in hybridness. It's just easy to drive. I'm not annoying all these people in these houses by going, whoop! I'll be annoying some other people later on, no doubt, but you get my point. You can drive through the village quietly, not be one of those guys, and then carry on. Maybe that's the purpose of a plug-in hybrid, because compared to like your well, just straight like a V12 Ferrari or even a V8. I don't think there's a massive performance increase there in terms of the hybridness. It's ridiculously quick. I mean, 830 odd brake horsepower. Think about it. It's absolutely nuts. I don't think anybody who's a Ferrari fan will probably go, I can feel the difference. You've got a lot of torque there, but what Ferrari doesn't, quite frankly. Getting lots of looks, as you'd imagine, but the Huracan STO that's in front of me is getting a lot more. Oh no, I've lost him. I don't know where he's gone. How can you lose a Lamborghini Huracan STO? Only I could do that. I need to have a word with Lorna, with my wife, because quite frankly, oh, the voice controls kicked in. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking, shh. I need to have a word with my wife, because our house, which is again worth less than this, you can't drive your house, can you? But you could probably live in this if you really wanted to. So this is like an upgrade.
I didn't understand what you said.
I didn't say anything. Cancel. Even Ferrari can't make a voice recognition system that works. Now I'm speaking to the owner of this car, if you're watching it. I hope you don't mind how excited I'm getting right now in your driver's seat. Hello, Ferrari driver here. Good morning. Everyone seems to be really friendly though. They're all doing that when I drive past, like waving. That's nice. Surprisingly, really good rear view mirror. I mean, I can see everything. I think I suit a Ferrari. I'm not talking to you. Cancel. How do you turn that off? That's it. It's just a nice place to be. Until you press that button and put it in race mode. And then it's a different animal completely. See, normally when you do a car review, it's of a family practical car, and you can kind of look at it as if you'd bought one, as if you own one. Well, if I owned this, it would be okay with a pram and so forth. But how could you possibly do a review of something like this? 99% of the people who buy it will probably only drive it to work and back, never hit a track, or it'll just sit in a garage, or it'll get flipped to make some money. They'll actually drive it all the time. So I know all these videos that you see where they're going, oh yes, it handles like a Ferrari Roma, but not quite as good as the V12 Ferraris. I think you're just making that up. I'll say this for it, not a lot of headroom, but you can put the seat down somewhere. Can anyone tell me how to put a Ferrari 296GTB into park? See, I always think that aspirational cars like this, and aspirational typically means out of reach, doesn't it? They have to put a massive smile on your face. And even though the person who owns both of these cars and many others, big smile. Doesn't matter how much money you've got, does it? If a car makes you feel this good, it's worth every penny to you. The value is there. And quite frankly, this will probably only appreciate in value anyway, so it's not actually expensive. Oh! Well, I have to keep up with him. Even though it's rear-wheel drive, the traction control system on this is another level, and I mean another level for Ferrari as well. It's rear-wheel drive with 830 odd brake horsepower, and there's no squirming. I mean, granted, I'm not in race mode, but you know what I mean. It's not like that Huracan where it's going woo every time you put your foot down on it. It's easy to drive, but maybe that's a dangerous thing, because then muppets like me that have no driving skill at all will end up thinking that they can go fast in it and end up in a hedge. Don't get me wrong, a hot hatch is fun on roads like this, but holy cow! Let me take it out of hybrid mode now. There we go. This is an 8-speed box, and it changes gear quicker than I've ever seen before. I've had a lot of DSG boxes before, but this is just, you don't even know. It's just counting numbers on the dashboard. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. But you can see where the engineering is, at least. It's not just a pretty face with a powerful engine. I'm in 3rd gear. Holy cow! I've had worse days. Definitely had worse days. Even the sun's out.
No, not in North Yorkshire, of course, but the sun's out there as well. I know this is going to divide opinion on the channel, the comment section. You've got the fact it's a plug-in hybrid, that doesn't go down well typically, and then you've got the fact that it's way above 99% of people's wage packets, mine included. But who cares? Should we do a bit of noise with the windows down? Should we do that? The STO first, of course. Fucking hell! How can an engine accelerate so quickly? This thing redlines at 8,500. It's a V6. You know when you blip a car, let me put the windows up. Do you know when you blip a car and you're in neutral, you just stood still and you go, wing, wing. That's what this does on the road. And if you're wondering why I'm acting like a stupid idiot in this car and can't talk properly, it's because I don't normally drive cars like this. I'm not a proper YouTuber yet because I don't own a supercar. Maybe one day, but I doubt it. I very much doubt it, but you know, fingers crossed and all that, you know, why not? The front lift works. I managed to not damage the carbon splitter. Now I just need to get it up the really, really narrow driveway that it only just fits up and that does that. Right, well I think I'm done. I'm going to try and nervously park this thing in this guy's far too narrow drive for the car. Big thank you to you-know-who for lending me this. I mean, I don't know what to say. The first one in the UK. Haha, Auto Express and What Car and all the other channels that get things before me. Haha. No, seriously, thanks for watching, guys. It's been fun for me, maybe not as fun for you. And I'll see you soon. Now, see if I can get this down here now.